Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you're joining us around the world for the very first Big Ring Handicap event on Zwift. Those of you not familiar with Zwift, we'll just let you know that Zwift is a safe, fun and social way of increasing your indoor training and now actually racing events live online with other riders from all around the world. The format of this handicap event is a slow rollout at 1.5 watts per kilogram. The weight of every rider has been tailored so that every rider should have the same watts per kilogram, thus making for a very close, exciting and evenly matched race where tactics and the ability to push beyond your limits will be what should separate the winners from the losers. Rolling out initially, we see out on the aquarium section, all riders are in the green jersey. That's the basic 2 jersey if you'd like to come along next week, except for ride organiser Davies, who you see there is giving the go, go, go call to TBR as we get to the bottom of the epic climb. Going through the riders we can see lined up for this event is Barnett, Plummer, Davies, McBrien, MT, Napa, Carter, Bailey, RD6 and Rowney. They're the riders we can see. We're watching Davies now. He's in the yellow and black jersey of the group organiser, the race organiser, and he's just maintaining contact with Plummer and Barnett. Looks to be an all-Australian affair, this ride. This is the first ever one of these events, so we're hoping that the word will spread and we can get people from all over the world as McBrien moves up to join the lead too. Coming across the fantastic architecture of the Zwift bridge, the gradient just levels out here to about 3%. You can see in the top right corner of the screen, before the gradient really kicks up for the remainder of the journey to the top of the KOM climb. Riding with Davies, and he's just putting in a bit of a dig here at 270 or 280 watts to try and catch up with Barnett and Plummer. Barnett and Plummer have been the early pace setters from the beginning, and now Davies joins on terms. Approaching the village now, so perhaps a third of the way up the climb. Looking as the group, and we call the group out now. It's Barnett leading from Davies. MT, RD6 was a long way back and he seems to be making a big gain, 2.5 watts per kilogram. Bailey, Carter, Rowney and Napa. Napa looks to be about 35 seconds behind the lead rider, so the handicap format is working well. With the whole group contained within about a 35-second spread. Davies just trying to stay on terms with McBrien. He doesn't look like he's able to do so at the moment. McBrien looking to bridge to the front too. Just a gap of 1 second from Davies to McBrien, but that 1 second looks like quite a significant margin. It's going to be tough to claw back on the 5%. After the castle, things turn decidedly chilly with the snow cover on the ground. As we come up under the tunnel section, McBrien looks to be stuck in no man's land. He's not been able to bridge to Plummer and Barnett, but he is holding an 8-second gap to Davies. We can just see there in the distance. And is that RD6 coming from way back? Through the saddle section now, and RD6, I think that's RD6, he's made up a huge amount of ground, and he goes past McBrien like he's standing still. RD6 is putting in a huge effort. He's 3.5 watts per kilogram as we join Barnett and Plummer at the head of the race. This is an amazing battle as it's tooth and nail, one going ahead then the other. Very high watts per kilogram as they just come over the little first crest now and roll over the top. Speeds will increase, but Plummer just can't seem to get away. Barnett is holding on, although looks to be under some pressure here through the rolling section. Plummer's aero wheels, I'm not too sure they're going to be helping him on this climb as Barnett looks to come on terms and now just half wheel ahead. No, Plummer shuts the door, he comes back again. He looks very determined today, Plummer. These two are in lockstep the whole way up this mountain with not too far to go. This is RD6. 5 watts per kilogram up this climb, out of the saddle. Big power. He has come from a long way back. Would be very interested to see his power numbers at the end of the event. Remember, everyone's power should be pegged at about the same. Back with Napa now. And here's an interesting little duo. MT, Bailey and Carter, a trio, I beg your pardon. 3 riders with a little gap back to Rowney, 7 seconds back. This is MT out of Australia, all riders Australian in this event. And Rowney just can't seem to bridge that gap back to those 3 riders. North looks to be struggling under the extra weight. And Tomic rounding out the field. As we come back to Rowney, he's out of the saddle at 90 RPM cadence. This is an interesting trio of Carter, Bailey and MT. Davies still in no man's land. I'm not sure what's happened to McBrien. Barnett does look to have been gapped by Plummer. And it's now Plummer 2 seconds ahead of RD6 with an amazing effort from RD6. He was well back, midfield at best. And he continues on at 3.5 watts per kilo. He's only 20 metres behind now as we approach the finish. Plummer putting in a dig now at 4.4 watts per kilogram, and you can see RD6 just over his shoulder. And look at this sprint finish. It's amazing. Is he going to get there? Oh, I think Plummer holds on. I think he holds on by a bike length, but absolutely storming finish from RD6 as Barnett rolls over the line. Just wasn't able to stay with him at the finish, perhaps paying for the earlier efforts. Davies is going to ride out the course by himself, riding the track by himself for most of the way. Next man back is Juice to Napa. This is Davies, the bumblebee jersey of the race organiser. Very respectable effort. That's going to be 4th over the line for Davies. Nothing too explosive, just finishing the course. It has been a great event, first time organiser Davies. Now Rowney has caught MT there and looks to have just passed him momentarily. We'll come back to that. This is Juice putting in some big watts to come over the line. That'll be 5th place. He was way back at the start. I'm not even sure he rolled out with the group. He's made a tremendous effort to come back there. Bailey and Carter now. This has been another tremendous battle. They've been together this whole climb. As Napa we see coming over in 6th place. Good effort from Napa. It's difficult for everyone to gauge their effort with the extra kilograms they're carrying on board. And we come back now to the Carter-Bailey battle. This has been an intriguing battle, with Carter just not quite able to get on terms with Bailey. It looks like she's pulling alongside. They're both riders out of the saddle. Carter coming alongside Bailey. Bailey responding, both out of the saddle. It's a wheel in it. Carter trying. Oh, and both riders sit down and Bailey holds on. Bailey from Carter. MT has just taken Rowney again. Rowney's put in a big effort to come back, but he hasn't been able to sustain it. MT will cross the line next to Rowney, also out of Australia. Great first rides from MT and Rowney here. North is a very prominent local rider, I believe. He's carrying a huge weight handicap on this event, and it may just have been proven too much for him on this occasion. Riding a lot of the rides solo. McBrien's come back. He must have had a mechanical, I fancy. And here's Tomic just in front of him. He stops as well. Gets going straight away. And it looks like McBrien's just waiting for him here. That's tremendous camaraderie in this group. That's what they're looking for in this format, I think. People working together, helping each other. Tomic now moves ahead. He moves quite a fair bit ahead, actually. McBrien being put under pressure here now for last place. But he gets out of the saddle, very low cadence. It must be a huge gear he's churning here. Up to 450 watts, 3.5 watts per kilogram. Looking to come back over the top of Tomic. I think he's going to do that. He does that. McBrien second from last and Tomic rounding out the field by the looks of it on this very first Big Ring Handicap, folks. Thank you very much for joining us here on this broadcast. If you like the idea and the concept of the handicap race, then don't forget to share and like. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.